The University of British Columbia is launching a summer institute to teach aspiring politicians how to do the job they campaign so hard to get. After the excitement of the campaign dies down, the winners have to face the realities of life in government. But when they get to Parliament, or the Legislature, or City Hall, they often find themselves unprepared for the real work they'll undertake in the assemblies and halls of power, where they'll sometimes toil late into the night. In truth, many of them have no idea what the real work entails: making laws, creating budgets, practicing the ethics and protocols of government. UBC's Summer Institute for Future Legislators will teach them the practical skills they'll need to do the job well.
It's really a boot camp. It's a boot camp for wannabe politicians.
Former BC Premier Mike Harcourt is part of a team of seasoned veterans who'll share their hard-won lessons of political life.
We can give them a sense of expectations, of the basic structure of our democracy, our constitution, relationships that they will have to build either with political parties, with special interests, the dangers of conflict of interest, ethical challenges they may meet.
Well, the things you won't learn in a textbook. It's experience of battle-scarred old political warriors like myself, Preston Manning.
We've agreed to provide the practical end. They're going to pair us up with an academic, and hopefully that's going to be beneficial to the people that take this Summer Institute for Political Leadership.
We want to inspire people to enter politics. We want to encourage people to think about public life as a noble calling, and to think about it as something that takes a specific set of skills and abilities. And those are skills and abilities that you only learn by doing. You learn through practice.
In the old days, the idea was you could learn by doing. You got yourself elected and you kind of learned on the job. But these days, that's almost impossible. You make one mistake and the instant communications, you can be in deep trouble before you ever get started.
But if you're brought together with practitioners, with experienced former politicians, in the right kind of setting where you can do role playing, where you can have simulations, where you can have people from the media come in and interview you, or have a simulation of a media scrum. You can learn some of the skills that you need to be an effective politician.
UBC's cross-partisan Summer Institute for Future Legislators will commence with Saturday workshops in June and July. One major focus will be lawmaking.
How laws are made at the three levels of government in our country.
Many people arrive at the Parliament and didn't even know that part of the job is lawmaking. Like at the end of the day, if you're elected to a legislative assembly or a parliament or municipal council, you make laws. In fact, you're the only people that can make laws.
Many parliamentarians nowadays see their role in terms other than legislation. And what that suggests is that over time, our parliamentary system has become, in a sense, corrupted. Increasingly, decision-making power lies with party elites, with the party whip, with the Prime Minister's office. And the Parliament has become a place in which public discourse is degraded. We see the antics at question period, and it's not an edifying sight.
Sessions will also focus on creating budgets, media training, ethics and protocol, as well as balancing political and personal life.
I don't think most people understand what it means to live your life 24/7 in the public eye. And that puts enormous pressure, not only on the elected official, but on that person's family.
Would that be part of this curriculum?
Yes, those are the kinds of things people need to understand, because I'm a firm believer that if you have a family, it's a family decision as to whether you stand for elected office.
If you know, for example, that in federal provincial politics, you're going to travel a lot. You're going to be away from home. So you'd better make sure that your home life is in pretty healthy shape and that people realize what you're getting into. In city council, you're going to be sitting through a lot of long, late public meetings, public hearings, and going to a lot of community functions.
So what's in it for the general public?
The public is increasingly dissatisfied with our politicians. If you ask members of the public what they think about politicians, you'll hear terrible things. It's become the despised profession.
The public opinion polls show declining public respect for Parliament, for legislatures, for party leaders, for candidates, for democracy itself.
That results then in people participating less, voting less, being less engaged. We want to turn that around.
And one way to reverse it is to I think, to raise the skill level of the main players that are the face of democracy to the public, to the point where they can inspire confidence, inspire more trust, and therefore inspire more confidence in the democratic process itself.
Hopefully you'll have better government.
A week-long model parliament will follow the workshops in August. This is a first step towards a permanent model parliament at UBC's Centre for the Study of Democratic Institutions.
And it would have two purposes. One is to provide heavy-duty training for people who think they would like to sit in an elected assembly. And the second would be to serve as a laboratory for structural and procedural reforms that you can never experiment with in the real parliament or the real legislatures.
Our constitutional system is based on the idea of parliamentary supremacy. The parliament is to be the highest democratic representative body. And part of our long-term goal is to promote an appreciation for that fact and to prepare people for public life so that the parliament can be reinvigorated and made once again the powerful institution that it has been in the past and that it should be.
UBC's Summer Institute for Future Legislators is now open for registration.